Good morning. Good morning. It is Cheryl, your expert accountant and tax strategist here. And this morning we are going to talk about mileage. But before that, just want to say that while I am an accountant, I'm not your accountant. And if you would like to know whether this information is applicable to you, then set up a consultation call. Join my membership or discuss it with your experts, tax strategist, and accountant. So, with that, let's get started this morning with discussing mileage and how it works for your business, what you need to keep for your records. Because remember, we talked about organization yesterday. So we want to make sure that we are keeping all of the information that we need for mileage in case of audit. Good morning, Dawn. Good morning, Vic. Good morning, Heather. Wonderful to see you ladies this morning. I've got my coffee. What are you all having this morning? Good morning, Robin. Lovely to see you. Heather says I'm still in bed. Dawn's having a Pepsi Zero. Vic's got her coffee. I've got my chicory coffee, Vic. And if you all wonder, chicory coffee, it's so I don't drink just chicory. It's not just chicory. It is it's coffee with chicory added, and it's very rich. The flavor makes it, the chicory flavor makes it very rich when added with the coffee. And it, so you like it will make my tongue brown. Vic says yummy chicory. Chicory is a plant. Yes, it is. But it's wonderful. I love it. Nariko, good morning. Good morning. How are you? Heather says I'll be drinking a homemade caramel macchiato. Okie dokie. I do use hazelnut creamer. I am addicted to hazelnut creamer, which is the other reason why I stick with only 2 cups a day. Heather says, me too. Love hazelnut. Yes, I just love it to pieces. And you know what the funny thing is? I don't like the name brand. I like the Walmart brand hazelnut creamer, and I get it in the half-gallon size. Robin says I need to make coffee a deduction. You absolutely can make coffee a deduction. I came across somebody's video the other day, and they were saying, and I'm not quite 100% on board with this yet, but so I will let you know once I dig into it. So, for me to say, I don't know about this one, is pretty significant. But she said that if you have a home office, that coffee beans, now she said coffee beans are deductible. I don't understand what the difference is between coffee beans and coffee grounds. I don't understand if it makes a difference or not. And if you comment on her post, she won't comment back other than to say, send me a DM and book a call. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't think so. You don't seem to understand. You're giving away false information. Knock it off. So, I listen to these other people, but I don't just follow or share the information that they are spouting. If I hear something that is like, I'll go digging. And when I get done digging and I have made a decision for myself through the Internal Revenue Code and I've fallen down the rabbit hole until I get to the bottom, then I will bring you the information. Heather says, try adding a dash of vanilla and dash of caramel for hazelnut caramel cupcake. It's amazing. No, I'm not into the vanilla or the caramel. Robin says, coffee beans you can use to deodorize a room. Yes. And coffee grounds you can dry out and use for your garden, your plants. They will keep ants away. But I'm really bad about putting them out or drying them out. Oh, you can also dry them out. And supposedly you can dry them out and burn them for a mosquito deterrent. But I haven't been able to make that work yet. Vic says, so I can go back and use my Google Maps timeline for my miles. Also, when I had my Mississippi audit, she wanted a full address for every location I visit. So, yeah. Let's get on the miles conversation. So, for starters, we have to document where we go, right? So in my workbook, I have a sheet that handles up to 4 different vehicles, and it gives you the place to put the number of miles you drove each day for business and a place to put where you drove. So typically speaking, for many of the people that I have been helping, it's been more of, you're always going to the same places. So you can create a legend somewhere in the workbook or writing it down that says, where you went, like Goodwill and the address, or Walmart and the address, or the post office and the address, because we typically go to the same places. However, the IRS does not say you have to give the entire address. And the IRS does not say that you have to use the odometer reading other than the beginning of the year and end of the year, which you do need to keep. But I can say that I went to Walmart in California, Maryland, and that is sufficient. If I need to find the address, I can look it up. Also, the address is on the receipt that I have used to also help track my mileage. So if there's a purchase for where, for the trip, if there's a purchase during the trip, then you have a receipt that backs up your mileage. So, and by the way, Mississippi and Indiana, if you live there, move out. They're horrible. I think it would be absolutely hilarious to see every business owner move out of Mississippi and Indiana. Vic says, why dry coffee grounds first? Well, as far as the drying the coffee grounds, it was to burn them for mosquito deterrent. You don't have to dry them first if you're going to use them in your garden, but you don't want them just sitting around wet either. So unless you're going to use them right away, then, like, get them dried up. So one of the things that I teach is to make sure that every time you are going to leave the house, you have thought out where you're going so that you can make it a business trip. Because if I'm going from here to, and I need to go someplace, but maybe it's not necessarily for business. Maybe I need to go get groceries, right? So where on the other side of the place that I need to go, can I go to make it a business trip? So if it's 5 miles from here to the grocery store, where at 5 miles plus can I go to make a purchase, to make it, or to film something? It depends on what your business is, but where can I go on the other side of that to make it a business trip? Because what it says is, if you are going to A for a business trip, then the stops in between, your destination is the business trip. You're making little incremental stops in between. That's negligible, right? So if the point A is the business trip, anything that you stop in the middle or anything that you stop on the way back, just ignore. Vic says, I didn't go to a thrift store in Texas this time when I visited my daughter. And hit the thumbs up button. Let me pull up. I'll use this one. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. So we have, this is from my workbook, and I sell this. You can find it on my YouTube. On my website at sawcheryl.com. But this is my workbook, and this is the mileage tab for my workbook. So you can see that it has all of the dates, the day of the week, and it will support up to 4 vehicles. That could mean that you have 4 different vehicles that you use. And that's actually how this started. Was I had a client that said they just take whatever car is at the end of the driveway. So, and they had 3 different cars. So I made this for 4 just in case. You always want to take your beginning of the year odometer reading and your end of the year odometer reading. And once you do this for the first year, then that one number on 1231 is going to be the same number on 1-1. So let's just scroll down here to, oh, also, the reason that I have a gap in between the first half of the year and the second half of the year is because a couple of years ago, the IRS differentiated in the amount of cents per mile that they gave us for driving the first half of the year versus the second half of the year. So since I had to change the workbook to do that, I am just, I just left it in here. Vic says, I love you sharing your workbook screen. So today's the 6th. So let's say that we needed to go, let's say we needed to go to Staples. And for me, that would be I wouldn't necessarily put that California, Maryland in here. And I would only put it if it was somewhere outside of the area that I usually go to. But I'll just put it in here for example's sake. Let's say we're going to go to Walmart. And both of these stops are business stops. So for me, Staples is like 11 miles from the house, and then Walmart is another mile. And then so it's a total of 24 miles because it's 12 miles to Walmart and 12 miles home. But these are the stops that I made as example. So it's round trip miles, and it's all the business stops that you made. Okay, so every time I go to leave the house, I think about where I can go to make sure that I'm maximizing my business miles. And I am making sure that I document where I went. So if I have like for this, for me, it's pretty easy. If I got audited and they got really anal about, well, where did you actually go? I could recreate and I could say Walmart and Staples in California, Maryland. I could pull up the addresses if I wanted to. I could create a legend over on the side over here that says Walmart and the address for California, Maryland. And then I could say, Staples. And if I went to, if, you're a reseller and you're going to Goodwill and, so where is my closest Goodwill? Let's change that one. So we'll go to Smile Thrift and Project Echo. These are both closer to me. So all I would need to do is put over here what the address was for each one of those. Right, Robin's saying, and we can make the description box bigger if we need to, right? So yeah, if you see up here at the top, you see how the box turned green? I clicked on the D. I'm clicking. But if you see how if I move the cursor over towards E, it changes to a line with two arrows. So I just hold the mouse, click down, and then I can drag. So that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is if I am, so post office, I'm just going to type a bunch of stuff in here. Okay, so you see how it kept going, and until there was a words that it didn't go over top, right? So if you go back up here and you make your cursor be the line with the 2 arrows, now double click, and it automatically makes it big enough for everything that you put in there. So if I, just as an example, see how it's going across the screen? But if I click out of it, you can only see part of it. If you really want to see all of it, again, double click it, and it will make it as big as it needs to be. All right. Vic says, I love you modeling the way to fill in the workbook. I'm glad that y'all are finding it helpful. All right. So do we have any questions on, double click? Yes, double click. Yep. That's all you need to do is double click. Anytime you can't see. So let's go over here to the expenses, because this is one of the areas that people are like, I can't see the numbers. So let's just type in a huge number. See how it's got all the pound signs up there? People think that this is an error, but it's not. It just means that the box is too small to fit the number. See how it pops up? Oh, it doesn't show it to you guys. Huh. Okay. Anyway, we can double click up here, and now you can see the whole number. So if you see this in a cell, then again, go up here, make your cursor look like the bar with the 2 arrows, and double click, and it will fix the problem. The same thing goes over here on the total snapshots tab. If we refresh, if this number didn't show, you could do the same thing. You could double click it and make it so it would be big enough to show. Vic says, I had that pound sign problem that I figured out. Great job. So I guess while we're in here, I will just run through right quick and show you. We've got the instructions page, which looks like I need to update this one. Then we have the yearly changes page. This is where I make all the changes and why this works going forward and going backwards. So this one workbook, all you need to do is make a new copy of it. Whether you come and get the new copy from me every year at absolutely no additional charge, or whether you just make a new copy and make the changes yourself. But I do put up a new copy every single year so that you don't have to worry about clearing things out, and you can get a brand new copy anytime you need to. Then we have the expenses tab where you got your date. You've got all of your categories to choose from. So if you see when you click in this box, it has a little arrow that pops up to the side. You want to make sure you get the little arrow to the side. It's not this arrow up here. It's the little arrow to the side. You put your vendor information in. That's wherever you spent the money and the amount that you spent. And this why or what, this is only to clarify whether or not you need to talk with me or your accountant about whatever it is, if you're not sure that you put it in the right category. Mileage is what we talked about today. Total snapshots. This is where all of your income goes in. This is where all of your categories get totaled together so you don't have to do the math. This spreadsheet, this workbook makes it so that it's only data entry. Like you don't have to understand accounting and bookkeeping and all this stuff. It's just data entry. All right. And then you have your little mini P&L down here. So it tells you, you know, what your gross total income is, all of your expenses, what your mileage is. You've got your home office deductions, which I'll get to in just a second. And then your projected income for the year. And then home office expense. I was using this as an example the other day. So you put in your square foot of your home, garage if you use it, and it calculates, and then the business use of home, the garage if you use it, the total business use percentage. If you own your home, the fair market value when the business started, any major improvements, you just type over like roof, 10,000. Well, that's 100,000, but you get the picture. Any expenses that you spend in your home, your electric, your water, your gas, if you have a housekeeper, if you have somebody cut the grass, if you have somebody, you know, whatever it is, if you spend it on your home, it goes in this spreadsheet. Robin says add workbook review to title. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Will do. So it gives whomever is doing your taxes, they will have all of the things that they need for this particular business available to them to complete that portion of your taxes. All right. Whether that's me, whether that's somebody else, all you have to do is print each one of the mileage page, the total snapshots page, and the home expense page. You print that, you send it over to them, and they will have all that they need in order to do your taxes. Please do not send them the workbook. So that's that. Let's see. We have Vic says, I love using the workbook and being in the membership for the guidance. Thank you. Thank you. Glad to hear that. Robin says, add workbook review to title. Vic says, since I rent from an individual, the MS auditor wanted their social security number since they didn't have a business EIN, since you rent from an individual. The Mississippi auditor. Yeah, they either need to be giving you an invoice. If they're not giving you an invoice, then you need to be filling out 1099s for these people. And if you spend over $600 with them, you need to be sending them 1099s. So if they are not giving you an invoice, then there's a form that you need to fill out. I want to say it's the W9. Form W9. Yes, W9 form. So I'm going to drop this link in the chat. If you are spending money with someone that is not giving you an invoice, then, and it's going to be over $600 for the year, then you need to get this form filled out. If they refuse to fill out this form, then you need to find somebody else to do business with. You get them to fill it in. You get them to fill in this W-9 so that you can send them a 1099 at the end of the year or in January. It's either that or they give you an invoice. Absolutely. Because we are not going to let somebody else's lack of being honest with the government keep us from being able to deduct that money. All right. We can talk more about this another call. But again, it's the end of the call, and some people may have had to leave already because it is 9:00, but I am Cheryl, and your accountant, your tax strategist, and I'm here to help you make the most of your deductions and grow your business to the best of your ability and keep as much money in your pocket as possible. So I have a membership that you can join for just a small $47 a month that gives you minimum 9 hours a month with me on a weekly basis. And it also has bonus content where we have somebody helping you grow a YouTube channel. We have a branding expert, and we have other people coming in and guest speakers coming in to help you do with other aspects of your life. So I will always be growing the group and giving extra content on top of what I am doing by giving you a minimum of 9 hours a month for only $47. So I hope to see you inside the group. Links are in the description. You can see where to buy my workbook. If that is of interest to you, you can find the membership link, and you can set up a discovery call if you want. Don't forget, October 15th is coming up quick and in a hurry. If you have not done your taxes yet for 2023 and you need somebody to get them done for you, then set up a call, set up, there's an actual link to get those done. So I look forward to seeing you. Have a fantastic weekend. And one last thing, never mind. I'll tell that to my private group. But you all take care, and I will see you on Monday. Bye.